The British royal family has weathered countless storms throughout its storied history, but few scandals have proven as persistently damaging and internationally scrutinized as the one involving Prince Andrew, Duke of York, and his association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This case has not only tarnished the reputation of King Charles' younger brother, but has also raised serious questions about institutional accountability, the role of UK police in investigating powerful figures, and the extent to which privilege shields individuals from justice. Prince Andrew, born in 1960, is the third child and second son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. For decades, he enjoyed the privileges and protections afforded to senior members of the royal family, undertaking official duties and representing the crown on the international stage. However, his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, an American financier who was convicted of soliciting prostitution from a minor in 2008, would ultimately become his undoing and create a constitutional crisis that continues to reverberate through the British establishment. The Epstein files represent a vast collection of court documents, flight logs, photographs, and witness testimonies that detail the extensive network of powerful individuals who associated with Epstein over several decades. These files began emerging into public view following Epstein's arrest in 2019 on federal charges of sex trafficking minors in Florida and New York. The subsequent release of previously sealed documents has implicated numerous high-profile figures, with Prince Andrew featuring prominently among them. The Duke of York's connection to Epstein dates back to the early 1990s, though the exact circumstances of their initial meeting remain somewhat unclear. What is documented, however, is that Andrew maintained contact with Epstein even after the financier's 2008 conviction, a decision that would prove catastrophic for his reputation. Photographs showing Prince Andrew at various Epstein properties, including his Manhattan mansion and private Caribbean island, have circulated widely, raising uncomfortable questions about what the Duke knew and when he knew it. Central to the allegations against Prince Andrew are the claims made by Virginia Giuffre, formerly known as Virginia Roberts. Giuffre has consistently alleged that she was trafficked by Epstein and forced to have sexual encounters with Prince Andrew on 3 separate occasions when she was 17 years old. These alleged encounters reportedly took place in London, New York, and on Epstein's private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Prince Andrew has vehemently denied these allegations, claiming he has no recollection of meeting Giuffre despite the existence of a widely circulated photograph showing them together with Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate and convicted sex trafficker. The role of UK police in investigating these allegations has been subject to intense scrutiny and criticism. The Metropolitan Police Service, commonly known as Scotland Yard, has faced repeated calls to launch a full criminal investigation into the allegations against Prince Andrew. However, the force has consistently declined to do so, citing various reasons including jurisdictional issues and insufficient evidence to warrant a formal investigation under UK law. This reluctance has fueled accusations of a two-tier justice system, in which the wealthy and powerful receive preferential treatment. In August 2021, the Metropolitan Police announced they would take no further action following a review of documents released as part of a U.S. civil case. This decision was met with widespread condemnation from victims' rights advocates and members of the public who questioned whether the same conclusion would have been reached if the accused were not a member of the royal family. The police maintained that their decision was based purely on legal grounds, and that the threshold for opening a criminal investigation had not been met. Critics have pointed out that UK police have opened investigations based on far less evidence in cases involving ordinary citizens. The apparent reluctance to pursue allegations against Prince Andrew has raised serious questions about institutional bias and the extent to which deference to the royal family influences law enforcement decisions. Legal experts have argued that the allegations, if proven true, would constitute serious criminal offenses under UK law, including sexual assault of a minor, and therefore warranted thorough investigation regardless of the accused status. The matter came to a head in November 2019 when Prince Andrew participated in what would become an infamous interview with BBC Newsnight presenter Emily Maitlis. The interview, intended to clear his name and address the allegations, instead became a public relations disaster of epic proportions. Andrew's explanations and defenses were widely criticized as implausible and tone-deaf. He claimed he could not have been at a London nightclub with Giuffre on the night in question because he was at a Pizza Express and walking with his daughter. He also stated that a medical condition prevented him from sweating, contradicting Giuffre's account that he had been sweating profusely while dancing with her. Perhaps most damaging was Andrew's apparent lack of empathy for Epstein's victims and his failure to express regret for maintaining a friendship with a convicted sex offender. The interview's fallout was swift and severe. Within days, Prince Andrew announced he would step back from public duties, and numerous charities and organizations severed ties with him. The damage to the royal family's reputation was immense, coming at a time when the institution was already facing challenges to its relevance and public support. In August 2021, Virginia Giuffre filed a civil lawsuit against Prince Andrew in a New York federal court, alleging sexual abuse. This legal action forced the Duke to engage directly with the American justice system. For months, Andrew's lawyers attempted various strategies to have the case dismissed, including challenging the court's jurisdiction and arguing that a previous settlement agreement between Giuffre and Epstein precluded her from suing other parties. These attempts ultimately failed, and in February 2022, Prince Andrew reached an out-of-court settlement with Giuffre. The settlement, the financial terms of which were not disclosed but estimated to be in the millions of pounds, included no admission of liability from Prince Andrew. However, the Duke did acknowledge in a statement that he regretted his association with Epstein and recognized that Giuffre had suffered as an established victim of abuse. For many observers, the settlement was tantamount to an admission of guilt, regardless of the legal disclaimers. The question of how Andrew financed the settlement also raised eyebrows, with speculation that Queen Elizabeth or Prince Charles may have contributed funds, effectively using public money to resolve a private scandal. The impact on King Charles has been significant. As the new monarch, Charles has sought to modernize and streamline the royal family, and his brother's scandal has complicated these efforts. Reports suggest that Charles was instrumental in the decision to strip Andrew of his military affiliations and royal patronages, recognizing that the association was damaging the institution's credibility. The king has reportedly maintained a firm stance that Andrew will not return to public royal duties, effectively sidelining him permanently from official life. The Epstein files continue to generate headlines as more documents are unsealed and released to the public. Each new release brings renewed attention to Prince Andrew's involvement and raises fresh questions about what UK authorities knew and when they knew it. Some documents suggest that British intelligence services may have been aware of Epstein's activities and his connections to prominent UK figures, including Prince Andrew, years before the scandal became public. If true, this would raise profound questions about why no action was taken to protect potential victims or investigate alleged crimes. The handling of the Prince Andrew case has broader implications for public trust in British institutions. When the wealthy and powerful appear to receive different treatment from law enforcement and the justice system, it undermines the fundamental principle that all citizens are equal before the law. The Metropolitan Police's repeated refusals to investigate, despite mounting evidence and public pressure, have contributed to a perception that the establishment protects its own, regardless of the severity of the allegations. Looking forward, the Prince Andrew scandal will likely continue to cast a long shadow over the British monarchy. King Charles faces the delicate task of balancing family loyalty with institutional responsibility, knowing that public patience with royal privilege is wearing thin. The younger generation of royals, including Prince William and Catherine, represent a more modern and relatable face of the monarchy, but they too must contend with the damage done by Andrew's actions and the institutional failures that allowed his behavior to go unchecked for so long. The Epstein files case serves as a stark reminder that accountability must apply to everyone, regardless of birth, wealth, or status. The victims of Epstein's trafficking operation deserve justice, and society deserves answers about how such systematic abuse was allowed to continue for decades with the apparent knowledge and participation of powerful individuals. Until UK authorities demonstrate a genuine willingness to investigate these allegations thoroughly and impartially, questions about institutional bias and preferential treatment will persist, further eroding public trust in both the monarchy and the justice system that is meant to serve all citizens equally.